be so much better.
Chairman. Te ura Flavel. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kia ora tata katoa. E tēnei ai. By way of just some introductory remarks, Mr. Chair, I wanted to just state from the outset that the Māori Party believe that we must really focus on the long-term outlook, the intergenerational shift that will ensure that we reduce alcohol-related harm right across the whānau. So we advocated for significant investment in the sector targeted at alcohol treatment services, and we're pleased that the government moved in this way with a $10 million announcement in the budget. We also support the proposal for a cross-agency advertising and sponsorship review as recommended by the Law Commission. We're particularly supportive of the Law Commission's advice that alcohol advertising and sponsorship could be addressed by limiting product information to plain pack format, which is basically what Tariana Turi has done with respect to tobacco prevention. We can say from the start as well that we are, however, disappointed that local alcohol plans remains voluntary. The liberalisation of alcohol sales, opening up supermarket sales, extending opening hours, reducing the minimum price age to 18, increased numbers and increased density of outlets have all compounded to the serious problem that other members in the House have talked about, not only in this debate but in the first debate with respect to the age. Mr. Chair, a comparison made by Te Rūnanga o Ngaitahu to the regime of environmental management is particularly helpful, I think. It was their contention that the rights protected under Article 2 of Te Tiriti o Waitangi include the capacity to protect and preserve the well-being of our greatest taonga, our people. And accordingly, it was their view that iwi have the right to be decision makers on the supply and regulation of alcohol within their respective ancestral lands. The proposal to enable iwi input into local decision making will be proposed as one of the key amendments in the section on local alcohol policy under my name. Mr. Speaker, the Māori Party describes alcohol as a social hazard and argue for measures to hazardous alcohol intake across all layers of influence. It would be no secret that, or maybe it is, that Māori are one of the few societies where the history prior to the arrival of the settler group was free of alcohol. And indeed, the term that our people use for alcohol is waipiro. Waipiro literally means stinking water. From that time to now, there's been obviously a clear impact on Māori communities across the board. And from the Māori Party's perspective, we take this particular issue, along with the tobacco and indeed the gambling, under the banner, if you like, of social hazards that we need to definitely have a look at. So in that regard, as previous members have sort of mentioned, under my name, we've tabled a number of amendments which the House will consider over the length and breadth of this debate, making the proximity to a school a criterion for determining liquor licences, adding Māori representation to the local committees, limit the visibility of advertising the product in grocery stores and grocery shops so that they are not visible in the store but they are able to be sold, eliminating advertising and sponsorship of alcohol except inside on-licensed premises, sinking lid policy on off-licensed retailers within territorial authorities, replacing, in terms of that, talking about the replacement of existing stores is the only exception and only if there is not another liquor store within 5 k's. There are other amendments that I won't sort of discuss right now but we'll come back to in the length of the debate. But I did want to say, sir, that the bigger picture to alcohol harm is that it's not just what we drink, it is how and who we drink with. It takes a community. So one of the recommendations that came up from the He Tete Kura, A History of Māori Addiction Treatment, tells us that there are 3 specific aspects to how we can work together to reduce and prevent alcohol harm, alcohol-related harm. If I can just mention those to close off. Number 1 is to build and strengthen and maintain links between whānau hapu iwi community and the sector around the country. Secondly, explicitly foster a collective whānau approach in the Māori addiction treatment sector and workforce, and thirdly, work more as a unified and collective sector to achieve whānau ora for Māori with addiction-related issues and problems. And we'd hope that all of these things do come together as we complete this debate over the next day or so. And certainly we believe in the Māori Party that the SOPs that we are advancing have some merit to them, as do a number of other amendments from other members.
Honourable Phil Goff.
Mr. Chairman.